You know that feeling, right? After a big meal, the heaviness, maybe unbuttoning your pants, that sigh as you lean back, just completely stuffed? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if the answer to modern overeating isn't some new diet fad, but actually an ancient piece of wisdom that's been hiding in plain sight for centuries? Let's get into it.
So this statement, which is over 1,400 years old, is really the core of what we're talking about today. It's not just some vague suggestion to eat less. Nope, it's a specific, proportional model for how to approach every single meal. 1/3 for your food, 1/3 for your drink, and 1/3 for, well, the most overlooked part of all: empty space.
So here's the big question, isn't it? Is this just some old saying? Or does this ancient principle actually hold up against what we know today from modern science about our bodies, our digestion, even our psychology? Well, let's find out. Okay, so before we can really judge this 1/3 rule, we got to understand the vessel it's talking about, the human stomach. Because it's not just some bottomless pit, it's a really complex organ with its own set of rules.
On average, this is the comfortable capacity of an adult stomach. To put that in perspective, think about a large bottle of soda. That's about the same size. Now, sure, it can stretch, but 1.5 liters is really its happy place, where it operates most comfortably and efficiently. This number gives us a real physical baseline for what 1/3 might actually look like.
You see, feeling full isn't just a simple on-off switch. Your body has this pretty sophisticated two-part communication system to tell your brain when you've had enough. And understanding the difference between these two signals, well, that's the absolute key to avoiding that overstuffed feeling. Now, what's really fascinating about this is the timing. The stretch signals, they're fast. They're what make you feel physically stuffed. But the hormone signals, the ones that tell you you're truly satisfied and have enough nutrients, they're much, much slower. So when we eat too fast and just fill our stomach to the brim, we're only listening to that fast physical signal, and we're completely blowing past the slower, more accurate chemical messages. All right, so now that we have a handle on the science of the stomach, let's break down that 1,400-year-old advice piece by piece and see exactly how it lines up with modern physiology.
Limiting food to just 1/3 of your stomach's capacity is basically a built-in portion control system. It helps prevent that massive flood of calories that can lead to weight gain. But maybe even more importantly, it avoids those huge blood sugar spikes and the giant insulin response that follows, which is exactly what causes that post-meal energy crash, and in the long run can lead to serious metabolic issues.
And the 1/3 for drink? That's not just about staying hydrated. That liquid is absolutely essential for digestion itself. It helps all those digestive enzymes do their job, turning solid food into a kind of slurry that your body can actually absorb nutrients from. Without enough space for liquid, you get slower digestion, which can lead to bloating, indigestion, and even acid reflux.
And this is my favorite part of the whole rule: 1/3 for air. This isn't just some poetic idea. It's mechanical. It's physics. When you overfill your stomach, it literally expands upward and puts pressure on your diaphragm. This physically restricts how much your lungs can expand, meaning you take shallower breaths and get less oxygen. And the result? That sluggish, sleepy, food coma feeling. Leaving space literally helps you breathe easier.
So we've looked at the ancient rule, and we've looked at the modern science. How well do they actually line up when you put them side by side? Well, the result is pretty remarkable.
I mean, just look at this alignment. Avoiding a full stomach maps directly onto preventing what scientists call gastric overstretching. The idea of a few morsels perfectly aligns with all the known health benefits of caloric moderation. The 1/3 rule itself provides a framework for structured portion control, and leaving space for air is directly correlated with supporting proper breathing mechanics. It's an incredibly powerful matchup.
But you know, the benefits of this whole principle don't just stop at the physical. The act of intentionally eating with moderation has some really profound effects on our mental and emotional well-being too.
Think about it. Every single time you consciously decide to stop eating before you're totally full, you're exercising and strengthening your brain's impulse control. Overeating can hijack the dopamine reward circuits in our brain, making us chase that stuffed feeling. But moderation helps keep that whole system in balance. And the result is more stable energy and a better mood, helping you avoid that awful lethargy and guilt that so often follows a massive meal.
Okay, so the science totally checks out and the psychological benefits are clear. But how do you actually apply a 1,400-year-old rule to your dinner tonight? Let's get practical.
It's really just a simple 4-step process. First, before you even start, just visualize those thirds. Second, and this is so crucial, eat slowly. You have to give those slow, accurate hormone signals time to actually reach your brain. Third, pause. Before you reach for a second helping, just wait a few minutes. And finally, learn to recognize that feeling of being about 80% full. Satisfied, but not stuffed. This isn't a restrictive diet. It's a sustainable habit of mindfulness.
And it is so important to remember this. The 1/3 principle isn't about bringing a measuring cup to the dinner table. It's a mental model. It's a framework for moderation and self-awareness. Of course, your individual needs are going to vary based on your health and your activity level, but the principle of leaving space remains an incredibly powerful guide.
So as we wrap up here, it leaves us with a pretty provocative thought. In a world that is just saturated with complex diets, calorie-counting apps, and all these fleeting wellness trends, could it be that the most effective, sustainable, and healthiest way to eat isn't new at all, but a timeless principle of simple moderation? It's definitely something to think about.